How could I have foreseen that instant would alter my existence forever? It was an ordinary day, but everything changed the moment I stepped into that room. As I caught sight of the door ajar, a rush of emotion surged through me, igniting a spark I couldn't ignore. I could have walked away, pretended it didn't matter, but I didn't. In that instant, as I grasped the truth of what lay before me, I understood that everything had changed forever. It was me, the one who ignited the spark, the one who let it burn too bright too fast. I knew the risks, yet I couldn't pull away. Terry found herself at work, heart racing with thoughts that felt both thrilling and wrong. The house was still, yet whispers of something forbidden drifted down from above. Dylan sat alone in his room, the air thick with unspoken feelings. At first it was just a fleeting thought, barely a whisper in the back of my mind. Just another fleeting moment of a young man adrift in his own secret dreams. But perhaps he would enjoy a coffee. A whispered exchange could spark something beautiful. As I ascended the stairs, my heart raced, drawn by the whispers that seemed to beckon me closer, a thrill of anticipation coursing through my veins. As I approached his room, my heart raced at the sight of the door left just a crack open. I inhaled sharply, ready to call out to him, but then my gaze fell on Dylan. He sat on his bed, the laptop resting on his lap, its bright screen illuminating his face with a soft, almost intimate glow. His hands were moving, and for a moment, I believed he was simply captivated by something thrilling. Perhaps a thrilling escape into a world of danger and desire? But as I took one more step, shifting my perspective, a wave of dread washed over me, leaving me pale and breathless. In that fleeting instant, my heart raced as I understood the depth of Dylan's intentions. My gaze met the flickering light, and a shiver of longing coursed through me. This was a surprise I never saw coming. I never wished to witness this moment. Dylan's heart raced as he fumbled to regain his composure, desperately turning down the volume on his laptop. But it was already too late. It was a fleeting instant, charged with unspoken desires. When our gazes locked, a deep crimson spread across his cheeks, the embarrassment in his eyes unmistakable. "I'm sorry," he whispered, his gaze dropping to the ground. I stood there, heart racing, unable to move. Is it really the door?" I began, but the words slipped away, lost in the tangled emotions I couldn't quite express. A forbidden warmth coursed through my veins. Heat flooded my cheeks, a mix of shame and something deeper. As my thoughts spiraled in a whirlwind I couldn't control, I hurriedly left the room, my heart racing wildly in my chest. I covered my face with trembling hands, fighting to catch my breath. What just happened? I breathed my secret softly into the silence. What had I just unleashed? Why had I let my heart wander so recklessly? Was it all my doing? "Enough, Gloria," I whispered to myself, heart racing. Yet the turmoil within me, it was ignited by something deeper than what my eyes had witnessed. Dylan was now 23, caught in the bittersweet web of time. He had grown up, but the weight of unspoken feelings lingered in the air between them. Yet here I was 47, a woman carrying the weight of past shame, longing for something more, something that felt just out of reach. In that moment I was lost in a whirlwind of emotions, the weight of shame pressing down on me like a secret I could never share. I lingered in the hallway, my heart pounding with a mix of fear and longing. I tangled my fingers in my hair, desperately seeking a moment of clarity amidst the chaos of my heart. As Dylan stood in the doorway, he fidgeted with his collar, his throat tight with unspoken words, his gaze lingering just out of reach. "Gloria, my heart races at the mere thought of you. In the shadows of our lives where the world says we shouldn't, I find a spark that ignites a longing too deep to ignore. Each stolen glance, each whispered word feels like a secret we share, binding us in a way that feels both thrilling and wrong. Yet I can't help but crave more, even if it means dancing on the edge of what we know we shouldn't. You are my beautiful enigma, and I am drawn to you like a moth to a flame. My heart races at the thought of you. It feels so wrong yet so right, like a secret we shouldn't share. Every glance, every touch, ignites a fire within me that I can't ignore. It's thrilling and terrifying, this connection we have, and I can't help but crave more. I wish things were different. I believed I had locked it away," he murmured, uncertainty lacing his tone. Yet his sincerity shone through. I turned my gaze, heart racing, unable to face what I felt. "Wait please, I can't. In truth, I owe you an apology. I shouldn't have walked in unannounced. I spoke quickly, my heart racing, unsure of what else to express. Whispers of longing linger in the air. But this silence held a weight of unspoken feelings. For years we shared the same space. Yet this moment felt like a secret, a spark igniting between us for the very first time. The first time, an electric tension crackled between us, unspoken yet undeniable. I should go downstairs and whip up something for dinner, I murmured, glancing back at the stairs with a mix of longing and hesitation. My voice quivered, a fragile thread holding back the storm within. Dylan remained silent, the weight of unspoken words hanging between them. His gaze lingered on me, a silent puzzle forming in his thoughts, stirring something deep within that felt both thrilling and wrong. Before everything changed between Dylan and me, make sure to subscribe to my channel, turn on notifications, and stay with me until the end of this tale. I swear, this is just the beginning of something thrilling. That evening, silence hung between us, heavy with unspoken words. Silence hung between them, heavy and charged. A world of unspoken words and stolen glances that never met. Yet that silence, it murmured secrets of a love that could never fully bloom. At dinner we shared the same table, yet our eyes dared not meet. The only sound was the soft clink of silverware, a delicate reminder of the tension hanging between us. We had to find a moment to unravel the unspoken weight between us. We both felt it deep down. But how can we ever be together? Days slipped away one after another, each moment heavy with unspoken longing. Everything appeared ordinary, yet beneath the surface, a storm of unspoken feelings brewed. The quiet between us thickened, each heartbeat echoing the unspoken longing that bound us together, yet kept us apart. And then, one fateful afternoon, Dylan took a seat beside me. The uncertainty flickered in his gaze, yet the longing to mend what was broken shone through. Gloria, about that moment we shared. My heart races with a mix of shame and longing. Forgive me. I never wished for it to turn out like this. Please, I can't let this come between us, he said, his voice trembling with a mix of fear and longing. I inhaled sharply. Despite the whirlwind of emotions swirling within me, I had to find a way to calm him down. I smiled, a hint of vulnerability in my voice, and whispered, "Oh, Dylan, you have no idea how many times I've stumbled through the shadows of my own memories." In those fleeting moments, our hearts whispered secrets meant for no one else. His smile softened, a hint of vulnerability in his eyes as he nodded, the weight of his embarrassment lifting just a fraction. In that fleeting instant, the weight of our unspoken feelings hung in the air, almost tangible, as if the world around us faded away. Yet, in the depths of my heart, I understood. Nothing had really changed. Despite the world around us brightening, this moment shattered the walls we had built, leaving us exposed and vulnerable. And I could feel it, that electric pull between us, a connection so deep yet so wrong. Everything was on the brink of crossing a line that should never be crossed. Dylan let out a soft laugh, his eyes drifting down to the table, a hint of something unspoken lingering in the air. "Text, I suppose we're on equal ground now," he murmured, a hint of something unspoken lingering in the air. I cast a fleeting glance his way, my heart racing with unspoken words. "What are you trying to say?" I whispered, a tremor of longing lacing my words. In that fleeting moment, his gaze faltered, as if he suddenly understood the weight of his words, a truth that hung between them, unspoken yet undeniable. He ran his fingers nervously along the nape of his neck, a moment of uncertainty hanging in the air. But he had already taken the first step. And now he was compelled to press on, despite the ache in his heart. He inhaled sharply, his gaze drifting as he whispered, "I've seen you. In the same way. You were blissfully unaware." It felt like a spark ignited within me, thrilling and dangerous. My heart stopped, caught in a breathless pause. "What is happening?" I breathed out softly, feeling the heaviness of his words wrap around my heart. Dylan's cheeks burned with a mix of excitement and fear, yet he pressed on, unable to resist the pull of the moment. I kept it hidden, my heart too shy to speak the truth. Yet, it lingered in my heart, an unspoken secret that refused to fade. It was a secret I held close to my heart, a thought that lingered, impossible to shake off. My heart raced uncontrollably. A forbidden warmth coursed through my veins. A strange feeling washed over me, whispering that everything was different now. Dylan's words held a secret longing, They broke through every barrier that kept us apart. My gaze lingered on him, a spark of something unspoken igniting between us. His gaze met mine, a spark igniting in the air between us. And in that moment we both felt it. The weight of something unspoken, something that lingered just beyond our fingertips. The air in the room felt heavy, a palpable tension hanging between them, as if the world outside had faded away. From that moment nothing would ever be the same. There had always been a chasm between us, a silent barrier that kept our hearts apart, the unspoken line that held us back. But now it felt as if that line had dissolved into nothingness. Without even realizing it, I found myself drawn to Dylan, our moments together stretching longer than I ever intended. Fleeting glances, whispered words that linger in the air. Yet, in truth, every glance only deepened the unspoken longing between us. Now we found ourselves sitting side by side, lost in the glow of the screen, hearts racing with every shared glance. Before we maintained our distance, but now, the air crackles with unspoken longing. An undeniable attraction lingered in the air between us. A spark between us, unspoken yet undeniable. Sometimes when Dylan's arm lay casually on the couch, and my hand accidentally grazed his leg, or when our laughter mingled in the air, a forbidden spark ignited within me, leaving me breathless. Yet I fought to push it from my mind. One night, rest eluded me. I lay restless, my heart racing in the quiet of the night. Yet the yearning within me refused to be silenced. All I could think about was the thrill of what we could never have. Dylan, my heart races at the mere thought of you. This was a moment that couldn't last. I had to draw the line. If he felt something for me, I had to confront it head-on and end it before it spiraled out of control. With that thought lingering in my mind, I slipped out of bed, heart racing. My heart raced wildly as I found myself standing at Dylan's door, unable to turn back. The door stood ajar, a sliver of light spilling into the shadows, beckoning with a quiet promise. As I stepped inside, my heart raced at the sight of him. He lay there, lost in dreams, a world away from the reality that bound them. But in that fleeting moment my gaze was elsewhere. They were lost in a world that wasn't meant for them. Something intense. My breath hitched. My heart stopped for a heartbeat. Watching him in that moment ignited a whirlwind of feelings within me. I never should have laid my eyes on that. In that moment I knew I should have walked away. Yet I held back. I lingered for a moment, grappling with the whirlwind of emotions stirring within me. In that fleeting moment I instinctively withdrew. A longing stirred within me, a feeling I dared not acknowledge, yet it was impossible to ignore. I returned to my room, lay down, but everything felt different now, as if a secret had shifted the very air around me. That night, I was blissfully unaware of the tangled web that awaited us. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't fight the pull I felt towards Dylan. As the days slipped by, the lines between us faded, and the magnetic pull grew impossible to resist. I never saw it coming how deep we had fallen. But one truth lingered in the air. There was no way to go back now. And then Dylan walked through the door, and everything changed in an instant. He was lost in a haze. The crash of the door, the clatter of fallen objects, each sound a heartbeat that could have stirred Terry from her dreams. Yet I understood the struggle Terry faced each morning. I hurried out of my room, my heart racing as I sought Dylan. I barely had a moment to adjust my clothes before I found myself standing so close to him. Dylan's gaze drifted, a soft smile teasing the corners of his mouth. "Gloria, do you truly exist?" he whispered, his voice barely breaking the silence, a hint of longing in his eyes. His words stumbled out, heavy with drink yet laced with a raw honesty that pierced through the haze. I inhaled sharply, my fingers curling around his arm, a rush of warmth and uncertainty flooding through me. "Dylan, please. We shouldn't be caught like this. We must keep our voices low." Yet Dylan's gaze was irresistibly fixed on me. His smile was gentle, his eyes lingering on me with a mix of longing and hesitation. "Your beauty is undeniable. Have you always felt this pull between us? Or had I simply been blind all along?" For a fleeting moment time stood still, but then I gathered my scattered thoughts. "Dylan, please, stop. Meet me in the kitchen. I'll brew you a cup of coffee just for us." I guided him quietly to the kitchen, our hearts racing with the thrill of secrecy. I was attempting to bring him back to reality, But the intensity of Dylan's gaze and his words were pulling at something deep within me, unraveling my resolve. Dylan sank into the chair, his presence filling the room as I busied myself with the coffee, a quiet tension hanging in the air between us. But in an instant, the cup tumbled from his grasp, its contents cascading across the counter like a moment lost to time. "Oh, Dylan, please be careful," I murmured, my heart racing as I hurried to tidy up the chaos. But Dylan offered a gentle smile, one that held secrets untold. "Have you always had this tender side?" I rushed to tidy the kitchen, my heart racing with a mix of urgency and longing. We had to leave this place behind, the weight of our secret too heavy to bear. Terry lay peacefully upstairs, unaware, while Dylan wrestled with the weight of unspoken feelings, desperate to keep the silence intact. "Okay, let's go up there." "But Shua," I whispered, my heart racing as I slipped my arm around his, leading him toward the stairs, the thrill of secrecy wrapping around us. As we entered his room, I could feel the tension in the air, his every move betraying a vulnerability that both thrilled and terrified me. He should have changed his clothes, but the weight of his emotions held him captive, leaving him too lost to act. Initially, I felt the urge to walk away, but the sight of him fumbling with his shirt pulled me in, and I found myself reaching out to assist him. As my fingers brushed against the buttons of his shirt, Dylan's breath hitched, a fragile moment hanging between us. In that instant, the unspoken connection crackled around us, electric and undeniable. The silence deepened the longing between them. I was fully aware of my actions, yet I felt completely lost in the moment. Dylan's gaze lingered on me, filled with something unspoken and electric. And this was one of those moments, a fleeting instant we could never reclaim. Dylan paused, his heart racing as he slipped out of his clothes. His hands dropped to his sides as our eyes met, a spark igniting between us that felt both thrilling and wrong. In that moment I felt my heart race, a thrill coursing through me. The silence wrapped around them like a shroud, each breath a struggle against the weight of unspoken words. "I can't keep pretending, Gloria," he murmured, his voice a gentle whisper, yet laced with an undeniable resolve. My gaze locked onto him, breathless and unyielding. My heart raced wildly. But what was Dylan really trying to say? "Do you dare?" he added, his voice dropping to a husky whisper. "Was that fleeting moment all we get? Do you really not think about it even for a moment? It lingers in your thoughts as you drift into the night." A shiver coursed through me, urging me to retreat, yet I found myself rooted in place. "Dylan, we shouldn't be doing this. This isn't right," I whispered, my voice quaking with uncertainty. Dylan's smile was subtle, laced with a hint of something deeper, something that felt both thrilling and dangerous. "We crossed that line of right and wrong long ago, Gloria. Stop deceiving your heart." Then he stepped closer, the air thick with unspoken words. And yet another. His breath brushed against my skin, sending shivers through me, a tantalizing closeness that felt both thrilling and wrong. His fingers brushed softly against my cheek, sending a shiver down my spine. I tried to turn my gaze, but something inside me held me captive, whispering that he was right all along. And then Dylan's lips brushed against mine, igniting a spark that felt both thrilling and wrong. The quiet hangs heavy, charged with unspoken words. In that fleeting instant, all the unspoken truths lay bare, wrapped in a fragile silence that dared to defy the world around them. In that fleeting moment, the chaos within me hushed, and my uncertainties slipped away like shadows at dusk. Because I couldn't say no to Dylan. And the truth was I had never dared to want it. My hands shook with uncertainty, yet I couldn't bring myself to let go. When I caught the fierce resolve in Dylan's gaze, I realized all secrets were laid bare. I swallowed hard, my heart racing as I turned away, desperate to conceal the raw vulnerability that threatened to spill over. "You're right, Dylan," I whispered, my voice trembling with unspoken longing. "We can't keep pretending, can we?" As I closed the distance between us, I sank back onto the bed, heart racing with the thrill of what we were about to share. My heart raced wildly, but retreating was no longer an option. Dylan's breath brushed against my skin as he leaned closer, the world around us fading away. His gaze held a depth that sent shivers down my spine, and the air crackled with unspoken tension. "We craved understanding, not the tangled mess of uncertainty," he whispered, his tone a soft caress that lingered in the air. "Everything feels so wrong yet so right." I turned my gaze, a tremor of longing coursing through me. Deep down, I felt the weight of anticipation, a longing that had lingered far too long, even if I couldn't voice it. Yet, I found myself unable to hold back the words that tumbled from my lips. "Dylan, I'm scared," I whispered, my heart racing, because of a handful of significant moments. "Dylan, I'm scared," I whispered, my breath hitching in my throat, because of some undeniable feelings. Dylan smiled, brushing aside my words, a spark of something unspoken flickering between us. Perhaps it was the alcohol that blurred the lines between right and wrong. Dylan whispered softly in my ear, "We can't let Terry wake up." In that moment I understood the weight of his words. Silence was our only refuge. A wave of emotion surged within me, threatening to spill over, and I had to stifle the sound that begged to escape. Dylan's gaze locked onto mine and he whispered, "I know. Gloria, everything feels electric and so do you." What could he possibly understand? He seemed to know, to see right through me. In that fleeting moment I surrendered, letting the world fade away as I shut my eyes. I clutched the sheets, my heart racing as a wave of anxiety washed over me. I was lost, unable to make sense of it all. I pressed my hands to my lips, stifling the urge to cry out. Dylan was lost in a haze, the world around him fading away as he surrendered to the intoxicating escape, oblivious to the consequences that loomed just beyond his reach. This was weighing heavily on my heart. The thrill of the moment mingled with the weight of unspoken feelings, and the undeniable thrill of a secret longing. Dylan seemed lost, a shadow of the person I once knew. He craved solace, a moment to escape the chaos that surrounded him. "Text," I whispered urgently. "Dylan, you're flushed and we need to move quickly." Dylan whispered, "Okay." He whispered, "Okay." Yet, he continued down that path, oblivious to the unspoken tension between them. Again and again the longing deepens. With another wave of pain, all my worries faded away, leaving only the raw intensity of the moment. I had lost all sense of who I was. I shut my eyes, whispering to myself, "Let's just erase the last few moments. This was never real." Dylan must have felt something deep, for he surrendered completely. His feelings overflowed, and I understood that we had crossed a line we shouldn't have. The fire within me was overwhelming. I gently placed Dylan in his bed, tucking him in with a tenderness that felt both sweet and dangerous. Then I turned the key in his bedroom door, sealing us away from the world outside. I craved a moment of solitude, a chance to wash away the world and lose myself in the steam. My heart raced, caught in a whirlwind of uncertainty. What just transpired? As the water cascaded over me, my thoughts spiraled, a mix of excitement and dread swirling within. I couldn't shake the feeling of something forbidden lingering just out of reach. And yet, as I stepped out, a sense of clarity washed over me, bittersweet and fleeting. Strangely, a sense of calm washed over me. Anger felt too distant, overshadowed by the ache of longing. Because my body was as at ease as my heart was racing, I slipped into my clothes quietly, my heart racing as I approached the bed, surrendering to sleep, pretending that the world outside had not shifted beneath me. But the truth is, this was merely a fleeting spark, a surge of daring longing that felt both thrilling and wrong. Yet, nothing could ever be that straightforward. And this was destined to become complicated. It was just the beginning. Just couldn't. Something deeper stirred. Deeper feelings. And in the end, Terry would uncover all the secrets hidden in the shadows. The ending is still unwritten. Stay close and keep your heart open. You won't want to miss what unfolds next. Activate notifications and share your thoughts. Keeps you on the edge, yearning for what's just out of reach. Your support is everything to me. And if you've come this far, my heart is grateful for your presence.